Welcome to a very special edition of 30 and Nerdy. I'm AJ.
I'm Brady.
And today we have a very special event to talk about. Today we're going to talk about
heavy metal, black gold metal.
exactly what Michael Ackerfeld just said.
He flew in from Stockholm just for that.
Yep, we are going to listen to heavy metal. No, we're going to actually talk about heavy metal today.
The best music there is.
Yep, behind bluegrass, jazz, fusion, funk.
Yep. / vaporwave.
Yeah, all of that in one big blender is probably the best genre out there.
The genre?
Yeah, because there's gens in it too. First off, I think we should just open up like, how did we get into metal? What were our roots? And I can start off if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I was like totally just born into it. Apparently, like my dad was like a big metalhead his entire life. My mom, she listened to metal, but she also like listened to shit like Carly Simon and the Carpenters.
Oh, the Carpenters fucking rule.
So like I actually have influence from both sides of that. I think that's why like I also like light music on top of heavy music, because
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, like growing up, I grew up listening to Metallica, Slayer, fucking Black Sabbath, shit like that. Like all this stuff that my dad was listening to is what I listened to. I remember being like about like 4 years old and watching the video for One on MTV.
Yeah.
And we would set up all of the baskets. Like I would set up all the laundry baskets around us and pretend I was playing the drums with it.
Nice.
And so when I turned 5, my parents bought me a drum set actually because of that, which is pretty cool. But it's like ingrained into my history. Like metal's always gonna be there. Oh, metal always was there, and it's nothing I have to worry about. Like I can't remember a time in my life when I wasn't listening to it at all whatsoever. And then once I became a teenager, I like got into the heavier stuff. I was starting to get into like new metal, which was like the pretty heavy metal at the time, at least for me. So like 14 to 16 was like fucking Korn, fucking System of a Down, all of that.
Biscuit.
Yeah, I actually listened to Limp Bizkit back in the day, at least like the first 2 albums. $3 Bill, y'all, and then Significant Other was really good. I mean, Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water and shit, like, wasn't, no.
What a dumb title.
All it is cum and buttholes. No, seriously, that's exactly.
Hot dog flavored water, is that what that's alluding to?
Hot dog flavored water is cum.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not listening to that with my church group anymore.
Once I hit like 17, my friends started listening to like a lot of like hardcore music, which was to me like the heaviest shit I'd ever heard. I was like, holy fuck. Because
did you ever listen to punk? Because I know a lot of metalheads had their start in punk.
I was never much of a punk guy. Like I listened to a little bit of it. I mean, I owned one Blink-182 album, Take Off Your Pants, a Jacket. Great album. I still believe to this day, like it's hands down like one of the best albums they've ever written. And it's still something I can listen to. And then the Vandals, Hitler Bad, Vandals Good. Fucking amazing album.
It's a great title.
Yeah, it is. And it's the CD that you still have of mine. So, yeah, I let you borrow it a long time ago and I still haven't seen it back.
I don't think I ever listened to it.
Well, I did let you borrow it when we were working at Walmart. So, a good couple years ago there, buddy.
Somewhere, that's for sure.
Well, shit, that's like almost 4 years ago now. Holy fuck.
God.
Time
flies.
Times they're changing. That's something I didn't like. Bob Dylan, I still don't. I think he sucks, but...
I got him in my Deadpool for this year.
Good. That's where he belongs.
Oh, hot take.
Ooh, I hope he's in the fucking burn ward.
Yeah, Howard Stern up in here just... unpopular opinions left and right. Mom, 30 Nerdy doesn't like Bob Dylan.
Hey, guess what else sucks?
What's that?
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's a popular opinion. Hey, did you see that post I posted?
Yeah, it was really good.
The radio company that posted it actually liked it, and they said really good outlook on the current state of music.
Yeah, you don't have to like him, but you kind of understand. How old is he? Can't be much. I'm probably older than him. I think I am.
I think you guys are probably about the same
And
fucking age almost.
If I was shoved into the limelight that fast, I would. I'm like, no, fuck you, man. Do whatever I want.
So, if you don't know, Justin Bieber recently came to Des Moines. He completely shit all over the entire show. Like, people were paying $500 to be like right up in the front pit
Insane.
with him. And there's times where he's just like, he's singing and he's throwing the microphone in the air. They have pictures of him holding his microphone backwards.
I did see that one while he's taking a swig of water.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many pictures where like you can tell like it's impossible for that. So I postulated that this is why I prefer metal concerts, because even if you go and the band's tired and they're pissy and they're broken and they just don't want to do it, you still at least get a performance out of them, even if it's subpar. You still leave, even if you're disappointed, knowing that you saw the best of them that you were going to get that day. Yep. It's not like somebody just popped in a CD and was like, live Justin Bieber, turned up one volume knob and said play, and that was it, you know.
I have had that happen at a show though. I could have been wrong. I mean, heavy metal show, lights flashing and everything, but the stage was pretty well lit. Dillinger Escape playing with Mastodon down in Kansas City. Could have sworn their lead guitarist was running around without guitar plugged in. I didn't see any wireless packs because he was throwing his guitar all over, swinging around his neck, getting on the rafters and jumping off. And they're a pretty well respected band for whatever reason, I don't know. Wasn't playing with a plugged in guitar.
That is disgraceful.
Yep. Another unpopular opinion, I don't like Dillinger Escape playing.
I like a lot of people do, a lot of people don't.
Because they're like, I see nothing but the highest praise for them. Like one of the best bands out there right now, and I completely disagree.
Well,
it's probably just not my scene, my cup of tea.
And I think that might be it. I know when they first came out, like I was really into them just because like they were so precise. And I mean, like they brought the word mathcore into general populace, at least with the metal elite.
Yeah,
with our white.
Metal elitists are becoming more and more the norm.
Yeah, we're the metal elite right now. Yep. I just pushed up my glasses I'm not wearing because I left them at work. I got my Slayer shirt on, so you know I'm the real deal. But anyway,
we're messing with a badass over here.
Yeah, watch out. But anyway, I mean, so that's where I got a lot of my start from, was all the influences from my dad. Like I can remember the first concert I went to was a Metallica concert when I was 8, and I literally gave myself whiplash by headbanging throughout 2.5 hours of Metallica.
God, what year was that?
Oh my God, let's see.
You were born in what, 84?
84.
You were 8?
Yeah.
So
93 or 92.
So they were touring what? Black Album maybe still?
I saw both come throughs for Black Album because they toured that album for 5 years. God. So I saw them on the first wing of the tour, and then I saw them on the last wing of the tour. So
back before they were fully into their old man stage, where they were we're old dads now.
Oh yeah, dude, they all had like long hair and fucking straight metal, and it was so fucking cool. Like when we went and saw them at Vets, because that's where you used to go to see a concert, was Vets Auditorium, and the sound there was pure shit. Like
just a big brick room.
Yeah, it is probably the worst place to hold a concert, but I didn't care at that time because I didn't know anything about proper sounding techniques like I do now.
And at a certain point, it gets so loud you can't barely tell what it is.
And me and my dad were up in the nosebleeds, and they had like a bunch of video cameras up, or monitors up with cameras like pointing at the dudes, and like they were like swinging camera rigs around. So like you could see everything even if you were up in the shit area.
Bringing the front stage to you.
Yeah, and it was sweet. Like just I can remember almost half of the playlist, but I couldn't move my head for a week. And my parents thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then I saw him 4 years later at the Iowa State Fairgrounds.
Whoa.
Near the end of their Black Album tour.
Jesus.
And
when did Reload come out?
I don't know. I think I was like 13 when it came out, so you could tell why I have such a negative opinion on it. Because I grew up with, you know, like Speed. Just like Speed and Thrash. And then out of nowhere, they're putting Jizz with Blood on a record album. And
blues rock.
And we're off to find the hero of the day. I have no clue why I yarled that so hard, but
it worked.
Yeah. And that album, or that show was really cool because if you bought general admission, originally my dad didn't want me to be down on the floor or down in the ground on the grass with everybody because he thought I'd get trampled because I was like, I want to go in a pit.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, you're like 11. I'm not going to let you go into the pit. 8, 9, 10, 11. So 3 years later. And my dad's like, yeah, you're not going to. I was like, come on. I want to be metal with everybody else. And that show was really cool because, okay, so I have this long line, and Brady knows this, of seeing bands in concert that I didn't want to see in concert at the time. And then when I get older, I realize, what the fuck did I just do? So this concert had Danzig and Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, God.
And Alice in Chains opening for him. Well, this was before Alice in Chains was signed. They were just
good.
Yeah. And Metallica brought them on tour with them. I only remember hearing Mother because that's the only Danzig song I knew.
I think that's the only Danzig song anybody knows.
So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I got to hear him sing Mother. Okay. And I blacked out that entire like 2 or 3 hours of music. I don't remember anything of it except for sitting in the stands at the Iowa State Fairgrounds.
Did you fall asleep or just like your brain's like?
I think my brain just shut off.
I'm not gonna let you remember.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like, my uncle and I think my dad were smoking a lot of weed around me, so who knows? But it's way past the statute of limitations on that. So
yeah, they're good.
So like, I mean, I was like a minor with a fucking contact high probably. So who the fuck knows? I was probably like kind of stoned out of my gourd,
and it just free weed.
Yeah, I just disappeared into the void. But then once Metallica played, like, I made my dad go down. I was like, yeah, I'm going down there without you or not. And he's like, fine. Like, I got a good football field, or half a football field, so like 50 yards away from him.
Yeah.
This wall of sound. And so, like, even though my first concert experience was like sitting down in a bleacher and standing up and like headbanging the entire time, like, that was my first like real because like I had people bunched up around me, and you got some sweaty old man pushing up on you, like this is the concert life. Like, that you want to go to concerts, you want to go to shows, this is what it's going to be like. But it was so fucking wonderful, just like having this like wall of fucking metal just like hit your fucking face, and you could feel like each time like Lars Ulrich hit his bass drum, it was like a small slap in your face.
I remember when I saw them in 2008, when the tech was testing the mics, I could have sworn it made literal wind just because of their sound system and the well. Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
And his kicks always sound great.
Yeah. Even though he doesn't double kick anymore. Yeah. I'm pretty soon, their next tour, he's just going to do hi-hats and snares only, no rolls, no bass drum.
It's sad, but that's probably true.
Yeah.
If he's not already doing it now. Which probably is.
They played Dyer's Eve live, and he, instead of doing he was going duh, duh, duh.
So just four on the floor?
Yeah. So
During the Dear Mother, Dear Father.
Yeah.
Part, oh my God.
Or it was like
I guess we can't all be Dave Lombardo.
Nope. Or, any other good drummer out there.
Well, I'm just saying at that age.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, I'm pretty sure.
I can understand he's getting in their 50s.
Yeah, but he's just
He
being
doesn't
lazy.
practice anymore, though.
He's being lazy. That's
Yeah.
it. That's his only issue. Dave Lombardo has fucking fused,
Yeah, his spine's shot.
yeah, and he's still out there who cares?
It probably improves his posture and makes him better.
But that's how I grew up with it. It's always been there. And I mean, as I've gotten older, I just only listen to heavier and heavier and heavier shit.
Yeah.
All the way up through death metal and grindcore and porno grind and fucking grindcore and porno grind and grindcore and porno grind and grindcore and porno grind and slam. Yeah. Which I actually can't stand slam. That's shit's
the burping and the barfing sounds.
the burping and the barfing sounds, and I mean it's just too much for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
I've always tried to think or pinpoint my aha moment to metal, but I can't really think about it. I remember back in, I think it was junior high, we're coming back from some band competition, which we won. Those were awesome.
Congrats.
And it was midnight when we were leaving, so mandatory Metallica. And I think that was the first time, because I'd always listened to KGGO, our local rock station here in Iowa. And, so I had that classic rock already instilled in me that I loved. And then it's who's this? Metallica?
Metallica?
Playing some cool, I don't know, heavy stuff?
See, because I know you grew up listening to more radio-friendly music.
Yeah.
I mean,
NSYNC.
Yeah, just live up to it. Who gives a shit?
I was a kid and liked pop music. That's who it's meant for.
Yeah. So, I mean, not everybody grows up on metal. I grew up in the fucking 80s, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was...
Girls, 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 am I right?
Yep. it was the golden age of metal. Everybody was listening to it. And then some people just made it harder, and then everybody was like, no, that's too much for me.
That's too much, Bob.
But go ahead and continue. I mean, because it couldn't have just been oh yeah, I listen to Metallica now.
No,
now
but then I started listening to Metallica and discovering from there. I remember discovering Pantera, and that was a watershed moment. But even before then, I would just get on, show my age here, YouTube back in the day, and just click Metallica, and I'll click the related until I'm not listening to Metallica anymore. And I found Morbid Angel. I'm like,
oh man,
it was the first intense band I've ever heard. And I'm like, it scares me, but I think I like it.
I had that experience because yeah,
and that's still some brutal stuff.
Yeah, I've totally had that experience. Now, I mean, for me, it's laughable now, because I grew up listening to Slayer and hearing, Auschwitz, the meaning of pain, the way they want you to die and shit like that,
well, a lot of people, and I might agree with them, say Slayer were the first death metal band.
I would
being
pretty
classified as it.
Yeah, I would pretty much say that, especially Rain and Blood.
Oh, yeah.
That's as close to death as thrash gets.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so I was a Christian when I was a kid, and I've talked about this on previous shows. Once I kind of relented from grace a little bit, pulled back from it and was oh, this isn't for me and shit. I remember sitting there and I was like, man, I'm going to listen to this. And it was Marilyn Manson. And I remember feeling kind of scared.
Yeah.
Because
because you against everything you've ever been taught.
I remember sitting there with my headphones on, and somebody gave me a copy of Antichrist Superstar, and I was just
I'm gonna catch fire.
So I pushed play, and I remember sitting back in a chair and just I felt literal fear all around me the entire time, but at the same time this immense pleasure. Because it was doing something you weren't supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there listening and and just all of this crazy dark imagery and shit. I'm just like, oh my God. And I felt the same way when I first listened to 9 Inch Nails. I mean, that 9 Inch Nails to me is like, Trent Reznor is still like my number one fucking influence of all time. You know, he was the guy who showed me you can be one person and make all of your music and not have anybody else's opinion fucking bombing on your shit. You just do what you want to do.
Now, does he still do that, or does he have a band?
I think...
Or does he even make 9 Inch Nails music anymore?
He's still... 9 Inch Nails is still a thing. I mean, he just does it whenever, you know, instead of being contractually based, he just makes music when he wants to make music. He's not required to anymore.
That's like the best place to be for musicians.
Exactly.
Forced music is shit music usually.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm gonna have to agree with that. But like, I remember like sitting there and listening to like, you know, like God is dead, no one cares, and if there is a hell, I'll see you there. And I was just like, oh man, that's spooky, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I always felt
like
bad listening to Highway to Hell. 'Cause I grew up going to Christian school. I'm like, I shouldn't be listening to this.
Because like when I started listening to like Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails, it was like right at the end of my, you know, like, all right, I'm done being a Christian thing. I went off to be a Satanist, and then, you know, progressed down the line to all of this is dumb and I'm just, none of it's real. Where I sit now, you know, unpopular opinion podcast. So
Call it that. We happen to talk about metal.
This is the one where we abandon all of our listeners, but hey, it's still a 30 and it's still a nerdy.
Yep. It's 1/2 30, all nerdy.
Yeah. Well, I remember you telling me like Avenged Sevenfold like really brought you into like more heavier.
Yeah, that one song, Backcountry. I still love that song. Well, I enjoy it. Love is a big word for me.
You know, like when they lost their drummer, like I was sincerely sad because
he's killer.
Out of a lot of the newer bands that were out there, like I hate Avenged Sevenfold. Like I just fucking despise them. But their drummer, like, definitely was just tons of fun. Like I loved watching him play. He made like listening to the music fun. Like if you just listen to his drum lines, especially like in Backcountry, because he's just like
yeah,
and like just like all these like small like little rolls in there, and it's just like, oh man, it's so fucking good. This drummer's so good. Why he's in such a shit band? And I realized like it's not the band, it's shit. It's just their fucking singer sucks, but they just can't shake him. He's like a bad heroin addiction. You gotta have it, and you can't shake it, or else you're gonna fall into a pit of despair.
Yep.
So thank you, Avenged Sevenfold. You are a bad heroin addiction.
I remember I found that song it was in one of the old Madden games.
Oh wow!
The title track when you're at the main menus, and I would just sit there and let it play through till it got to it. I'm like, yeah, this heaviness is cool. But then I eventually progressed it. Pantera, they were kind of my foot in the door for extreme metal.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what.
Which is funny because like I grew up listening to Pantera, and my idea of extreme metal was like the hardcore and the new metal I was listening to.
Especially Southern Trendkill. I mean, that album is...
You know, like I don't even really like that album. The only album I really like by Pantera is...
Vulgar?
No. Is...
Far Beyond Driven.
Cowboys from Hell.
Yeah.
CFH is my shit. Everything else like I could really care less about.
Ugh. Vulgar Display of Power is the best album one of the best albums ever.
Nah. Ugh. Unpopular opinion podcast right here. Unpopular opinion voiced right here to somebody who holds the popular opinion on Pantera. Like Cowboys from Hell's their best fucking album. Sorry. Hey, at least I didn't say Reinventing the Steel.
Love that album. I do.
You're the only one.
I don't know. Comment on this post if you agree with me.
And comment on this post if you don't. I want
Only comment if you do. If not, say fuck away.
don't listen to him. Comment on our post. We want to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you could tell that we are both firmly rooted into metal. We're 30 minutes in. You know we know our shit.
Oh yeah. I don't know much, but what I do, I know a lot about, which is metal.
And there you go.
I'm a connoisseur of sorts.
Like, we're both musicians. We both play guitar. I play drums, you know.
I would like to.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think it'd be fun to learn.
It is so fun. It is probably one of the hardest on your body, but most fun to play instruments in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I can think of one instrument harder to play. Is that one-man band when they walk around and with the drum on their back,
the cymbals between their knees.
Yeah, that's got to be way harder.
That's got me beat. That and people who still use analog synthesizers.
Yeah,
the wall of sound. Literally, no. Have fun patching all that shit together.
You have to like pull stuff like you're a telephone.
Yeah,
worker.
Yeah. That patching. That's called patching.
Patches. We don't, stupid.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They make digital shit for us. Stupid idiot. But anyway.
Excuse me. Digital? I remember I was at a show helping chant analog. So watch it there. Digital.
Oh, yeah. At the sword. Yep. Analog. Analog. Analog.
You know you're surrounded by a bunch of 70s music fans when you're chanting analog.
So tonight, now that we're past the meat of the subject, we're going to talk about one band in particular that I think we could spend a good 30 minutes talking about. And easily. And I feel maybe we will start to do maybe just the you and I show where we just talk about metal.
I'm so cool with that.
So tonight we're going to talk about Mastodon. And
my second favorite band.
So today in Mastodon news, announcing a 2-disc album.
Yep.
I am excited.
Well, didn't Brent say it was they could do a 2 album or they would like to?
I thought it said
set in stone.
I'm pretty sure it was confirmed that this next album will be 2 discs.
That means one of them has to be good.
Right. But honestly, they said the same thing when they were recording Once More Around the Sun, and then they decided, we'll just release a smaller album in the middle of winter because it's a more solemn album, and then that never came out. So they're sitting on a fucking bank of songs, and that's the issue with me is like they should have just done what they were originally going to do because it would have worked out better. But now they got this double album thing.
I'm cool with double albums. Look at yellow and green.
I'm definitely happy with double albums. But what I'm getting here, I guess, when it comes to Mastodon, what I really miss is their concept albums. What about you, Doe?
Oh, well, they're 50-50. I mean, those are some of their best masterpieces. I think that's a good word to describe them. But I can understand a band not wanting to constantly do story-driven album after story album after story album.
Well, yeah, most definitely. But I think it'd be nice for them to go back and do one.
Yeah, but knowing Mastodon, I mean, their last 2 outputs, I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't.
A lot of people, like, even though it wasn't story-driven, a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, well, The Hunter's definitely their Wood album.
Oh, yeah. You could say the same thing about Blood Mountain, too. It's woodsy.
No, wait, dude. That's like a pure, like...
Stone?
Yeah, that's stone and fire.
I guess mountain. Duh.
Yeah.
Shut up, Brady.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
Today, on our unpopular opinion, Brady has something to share with us about Once More Around the Sun. And I'll let him start off with how he feels about it. Because I'm going to listen to what he wants to say. And then I'm going to probably... try to go off of what he says and see if I agree or not.
Once More Around the Sun is a 5.5 to 6 out of 10 and boring.
But why? Like,
it's just they could have, knowing the 4 dudes in Mastodon, they could have made such better music. I mean, you got your High Roads, your Halloween, Ember City. They're good, but there's like 4 songs I could take away from that album and like listen to constantly. The others like fall at the wayside. Like that Diamond in the Witch House or whatever.
Oh, that song is definitely shit.
Boring.
Which is upsetting to me because I think that's supposed to be like
Their
Lovecraftian.
Oh, really?
A Lovecraftian, because like the Witch House is a huge Lovecraftian like tie-in, and I think that's what that song's supposed to be about. But it failed.
Like,
it was a definite failure for me.
I love Scott Kelly. Neurosis is rad, and I love the songs he's on. Crack the Sky, Blood and Thunder, and I'm sure there's some other ones I'm missing.
Colony of Birchmen.
Yeah, no, that was the dude from
Or is that Queens of the Stone Age?
Queens of the Stone Age guy.
Okay.
But they didn't need him on that song, I don't think. Troy, in his age and the way his voice is evolving, could have done that, I think.
The whole thing,
Yeah.
easily.
Not to discount Scott Kelly, because he's great, but I don't know. That song is just so prodding, and it's like a horse that doesn't want to walk anymore.
All I can really remember from it is just that really annoying, like, not only that, but like the guitar. Listening to that over and over is maddening.
Yeah.
Now, some might say that that's Lovecraftian. I would have to say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to hear is that, you know. And really, I could definitely agree with you on that song. That song is just not that good.
Yeah.
But when I think about anything with Mastodon, I always think of like, when it comes to Once More Around the Sun, like High Road, Motherlode,
Yep.
Amber City. Amber City is like probably one of my most favorite Mastodon songs of all time.
It's a heavy one, not
Yeah.
sonically, but emotionally.
Emotionally heavy, and Halloween is really good.
And I think the shining gem on the album, which is the most Mastodon-esque song, is Chimes at Midnight.
That's a pretty good song. I like
It's
the
just
way. Yeah, I like the way that it opens up too. It's like a book cover, and then it's a song,
ABA.
and then it ends the same way it began. It's pretty rad.
A la Master of Puppets.
Yeah, I mean, I like probably about 90% of that album.
So those 5 songs, you just named all my favorites,
Right.
and I'm not. Everything else is whatever.
Well, I'm trying to think of like the other songs on it, but you know what? You may have a point.
You can't.
I like once
with the chanting part.
that part's cool. Well,
That
I mean,
riff is fucking awesome, and that's
yeah,
it.
dude, that riff is like pretty fucking hardcore. Just
Yeah. And I even like the chanting, like in a live setting. When we saw them live, they were playing that. It's awesome. You get the crowd into it.
Yeah. Well, I was starting to think of another song, but it turns out that that's Halloween. Because like I was thinking of this time I was driving to my dad's house, and like I was like, this song was built for just driving down the freeway.
Yeah.
And that's Halloween.
When they like end the song like 8 times, but nope, back to the
Yeah, it's so fucking good. Their proggy track for that album, I guess, Once More Around the Sun. I think
It's just okay. There's another good one. Maybe we're just discounting it. I don't know.
I think what the issue is that it might be overplayed.
Yeah, my issue is when I look at the album as a whole, I'm disappointed. But then once you put an axe to its head and tear it open and start digging around inside, I like it better songs on their own than as a whole.
Right.
That might sound weird, but it makes sense in my head.
I actually kind of agree with you on that, because like I came into this like there's nothing wrong with Once More Around the Sun, but now that like you're kind of pointing out like some obvious like issues.
It's like
to
a
me.
straight A student with a 4.5 getting a C.
Yeah,
It's like, what the fuck, man?
what just happened? See, but the weird part is for me, like that album's not played out, but for me, the album The Hunters played out, and I really can't listen to it.
Flip-flopping now. Because I completely disagree.
You see, and I like I totally feel you on that. Like don't get me wrong, I love The Hunter. I loved almost all the songs on it. There's a few songs I mandatory skip, but every time I hear Bone Dry
Bone Dry Valley,
Dry Bone Valley or whatever, like that's my pump up song. Like when I hear that, like I'm fucking amped. I'm ready to fucking go. Like Jesus Christ, Curl of the Burl, sweet fucking riff, sweet fucking song.
What's that one that change your hair, change your clothes, or rearrange your face for you?
Oh, I don't remember the name of any of their songs, really.
Yeah.
At least not on that album.
That's my pump-up song on that album.
But the song...
screaming chorus from Brent where you can hardly hear him.
Oh, yeah.
Understand him.
It's so good. Hay is for horses, but grass is cheaper. And that's from their Baby song. I don't know what...
Hey, no, that's from Curl Burl, isn't it?
No. It's from Stargasm.
Is it? Oh, wow.
Hay's for horses, but grass is cheaper. Yep.
I like that song, too.
My powerful Brent Hines just woke up my daughter, and then she had a smiley look on her face, and then she fell back asleep.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
You just channeled him.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Meow.
I've been listening to Mastodon for as long as I can remember. Mm-hmm. And listening to Blood Mountain, I know maybe 20% of the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
I remember back in 2010, I was super hard into that album. Constantly in my CD player, would never leave. Still don't know any of the fucking words.
I know the majority of the lyrics to the song "A Colony of Birchmen."
Yeah, Crystal Skull is my song right now.
Into the black hole.
That's my favorite
crystal.
Mastodon song of all time.
Mine is actually on "Crack the Sky," and it's
Divinations.
Yep, that's my all-time favorite Mastodon song.
Banjo kickoff.
Oh God, it's so good.
It's nice hearing banjo and Mastodon because.
Well, that's like Brent Hines' forte right there.
He got accepted in. There's some prestigious music school in Alabama he got accepted to for his banjo playing.
There you go. Fucking A. This is what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about...
It's Macedon-y.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I guess we've pretty much given our solid opinion on Once More Around the Sun.
And I don't know why.
For me, but it's not played out yet, but I'd never listened to A Diamond in the Witch House. Never.
Nope. I listened to it because on the fucking Mastodon Mayhem page, all they do is sit there and jack their little dicks off to how fucking amazing Once More Around the Sun is. It's the only reason the Earth exists because this album does too. And I'm like, no.
Maybe that's what your issue is that all these people
because I'm
keep
an old
talking
school Mastodon fan.
Well, no, not even that, because all these people keep talking up. For me, I'm not on the Mastodon Mayhem webpage.
Don't join.
And the only thing I liked or whatever is fuck yeah Mastodon.
Yeah, and they're practically dead.
Yeah, they post little, and that's good enough for me. I don't try to get into fandoms when it comes to music because
it's a cesspool.
Yeah, it's one thing when you're in a fandom page for a video game, self-ran FromSoft. So I know when I go in there and I'm gonna talk to people about Bloodborne or Dark Souls, I know that I'm gonna get people I'm gonna agree with, and not only that, but I'm gonna be able to get good constructive criticism from, and then maybe a couple people say good faggot,
Yeah.
Whereas if I go onto a metal page and I say, oh man, this band sucks,
what the fuck did
I
you
know
just say to me?
I know I'm gonna have at least 3,000 people that are gonna threaten to rape me, 2,000 people are gonna threaten to murder me,
a handful of slurs are gonna be tossed at you.
A handful of slurs are going to be tossed at me, and then at least 1,000 of them are going to kill me first and then rape me. So, I mean...
Very specific in their hate.
Yeah. They just want to kill and rape. I don't know what it is with metal fans.
Me neither.
These are general metal fans, not people like
None
us.
of the music has to do with any of that, though. That's the weird Not hung, stripped, and raped by Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, what the fuck? That has nothing to do
awesome
with...
song, though.
You know, who cares? Like, sometimes when you ejaculate, you come blood. It happens.
But I got on there one time. It's like they were jacking off to Diamond the Witch House, and like I posted, I listened to this song for literally the third time since its release, and it's boring, and I don't get why you people like it. And then it was like, can you honestly tell me why you think that? I'm like, listen to it.
Just listen.
It's boring.
They're okay. Either
this is the best song
either
on the
there's
album.
something wrong with you and I, or there's something wrong with them, because that song is one of the most mediocre and boring Mastodon songs. And you're talking to somebody who deeply appreciates.
Don't get us twisted. We fucking love Mastodon to the sun and back.
Yeah,
Or moon and back.
You're talking to somebody who deeply appreciates every single fucking like millisecond of Crack the Sky.
And I've seen them 5 or 6 times in concert.
You want to talk about long, drawn-out songs like The Czar 1 through 3?
God, such a good song.
It's like 18 fucking minutes of... Okay. And guess what? I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I think it's fucking amazing.
But
It's beautiful.
I just want to go up to these people who love Diamond the Witch House and like, here's 2 songs. Iron Tusk and Mother Puncher. Case closed.
But see, here's where you and I differentiate.
I knew we were going to get here and I didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to do it either because we're both...
Your parents telling you they don't like your kid. It's that painful.
I don't really like Remission. And I also am not a big fan of Leviathan.
Oh my. Okay, I could understand with Remission because it's a pretty dirty sounding album, but Leviathan?
Nothing really on it captivated me. Also, I'm not as big of a fan of Moby Dick as you are.
True. I fucking adore that book.
Whereas with me, I'm really into
Celestial, Astral.
Yeah, that shit. That shit's fucking awesome.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah, like I think what it is just like the attitude of the album, especially like when it comes to Remission. Like, I don't really feel a connection with the sea. I don't really feel a connection with you know, any of those elements of that album. I really fucking love
Blood Mountain.
No, the song that's on there, Blood and Thunder.
Oh yeah,
it's
what
fucking.
About Hearts Alive? That's
okay. Hearts Alive is pretty good too.
It's an epic.
I mean, there's songs on Call of the Mastodon that I like, but I Remission and I just never really got along.
That's so crazy because Call of the Mastodon is even dirtier.
I don't know. There were lots of good licks on it.
It's like dumping sand in your eyes and loving it. That's how I could describe Call of the Mastodon. The title track, I think, is my favorite on that one. Just that big, huge...
It's so good.
It makes me tingle.
But Remission, like I remember my friend showing me Remission, like Brandon Newton, circa 2000 whatever. He was still driving this fucking van, and I lived in Ankeny at the time, so it was at least 2002 to 2004 to 2006, somewhere in there. And he's like, check this out. And I just felt blasé the whole time. And then I was like, hey, what's this? And I pick up this random album, and he's like, that's unrelenting metal. Do you want to listen to it? And he popped it in, and that's the first time I heard Nile. But that's a story for another day. Yeah, like I made him pull out Remission to put that in.
Well, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Nile's sick.
So for me, like Remission never really...
struck a chord.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Bing. I'm like Microsoft over here. Bing.
Now okay to eject.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to psychology you.
Okay, to it.
What are your thoughts on sludge metal in general?
It's alright.
Like, if I put on some Black Tusk right now, would you dig it?
I might.
Because I'm trying to think, like, well, maybe AJ just doesn't like sludge. Like, it doesn't jive with him.
I think that might be the issue. I mean, like
Kylesa. See, I think you don't like sludge, and that's Mastodon's sludge album.
Yeah.
Through and through.
I think for me, maybe I'm not a big sludge metal fan, and that could definitely be it. Because for me, I mean, once they hit Blood Mountain and they started getting really like more proggy,
Yeah.
and just like crazy, you know, you're sitting there like digging through a story. That's when I really got into them. Because like when I first heard Colony, like I was like, this fucking band blows. I don't see why everybody loves Mastodon.
Yeah.
They can all just fucking burn. I could fucking care less. Now I'm like I'm a pretty big fan of Mastodon. Like
Yeah.
I await every album that they release, and I get excited for everything that they do.
Yep.
You know, when they released Little White Walker, like I was fucking right there. I'm
God.
like, yes, this is good. This is really good.
Braun's voice on that song is haunting.
Oh, it's so good.
I just wanted to say, for those of you who don't listen to metal, Sludge is from Atlanta, Georgia, or not Atlanta.
It's from like the southern
deep south,
southeastern region.
So just think of hot, wet, muddy, barren wasteland of that is the South. No, but his band's like I Hate God, early Mastodon, Kylesa, Black Tusk, all that sorts of stuff.
Red Fang.
Yeah, I'd say Red Fang. They're from Oregon or Washington, though.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's where the whole sludge movement originated.
yeah.
And people even consider Black Tusk even deeper than sludge. It's swamp metal.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Savannah, that's the other big sludge town. That's
Yeah.
where Baroness and Kylesa got their start. Black
See,
Tusk too.
but I like Baroness, but I like later Baroness. No,
So you don't like 1 and 2, and that's like pre-red.
Oh, then definitely no. Because like I don't like Red either, but that's also something for another day. Just
Yeah.
pet your shirt. It's okay.
Or Baroness red shirt.
Red shirt. I think maybe you're right. Like me and sludge just don't mix very well. But I love a lot of the bands that have come from their sludge roots. Were Baroness,
Yeah.
Mastodon. Fucking I like Red Fang.
Oh yeah.
Even though to me like they're more like a party nerd metal.
Yep.
I like the Sword, but honestly, I only like one album by them. To be really clear about that. Apocryphon. Yep. Because I kind of like Age of Winter, you know.
Oh, that's my bread and butter for the Sword.
So maybe what my main issue is that I just don't like the sludge metal.
And AJ, that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay. But beyond that,
Maybe to someone else, but not me.
so for you, I know that you hold Remission and
My favorite is Blood Mountain,
yeah,
bar none.
and mine is Crack the Sky.
Which is nothing to scoff at. That's a masterpiece of an album.
Oh my god. I actually made it a goal to learn how to play songs off that album. And
Yeah.
I'm still
it's a
working on
chore.
Oblivion.
It's so hard.
What a do you guys have fingers that do things that
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine fingers could do? And
That's one thing that should make people respect bands more. Like if you know how to play an instrument and you like a band, try to learn their songs, and you'll gain an extra respect for them. What
See,
they can do.
and that is something I think just like general music wide, like
Yeah.
I don't understand why people don't hold metal in a higher regard, because this shit's fucking hard to play.
Yeah.
This shit's fucking hard to do, and I don't understand why people, you know, poo-poo on it. Like you shouldn't be poo-pooing on this, because
Yeah.
I'd like to see you stand up on a fucking stage and fucking do that shit.
Hammer
like,
smashed face.
like, yeah, like, have you ever watched them play it? Like,
It's
do me a favor, all of our 30 and Nerdy fans, go onto YouTube and delight yourself with 20 years of gore documentary about Cannibal Corpse, and you're gonna see some behind the scenes recording footage,
the one where they're tracking that one song. I
and
don't even
you're
remember
gonna
the
see
name.
their bassist do shit that
shouldn't be possible.
That should
The
not be
human
possible.
anatomy. Maybe a
and
robot.
you're gonna see their guitarists do things that you didn't think were humanly possible. There's a great amount of skill in these bands, and I think that's the true travesty here is that while pop bands, you know, they make shit tons of money and
Cookie cutter music.
it's all cookie cutter, and they have, you know, a writing staff behind them and a production staff behind them, and the only thing they have to do is sing it. Whereas like these bands, they fucking work their fingers to the bone. You know, day in, day out, they're fucking sweating, doing work.
Usually-
They are working musicians.
Usually
doing
knowing
work.
they're not going to get any funds
Oh yeah,
for that work.
yeah, most definitely. These are working musicians doing what they do best, and that's working. And I respect them for it because
Record an album and then you go on the road for a year to make money off that album.
I just don't see how they could do that. You know, like for me, like I can understand being pissy with your going back to what I was talking about earlier with Justin Bieber, where like I understand that the only way he's able to make headway is to do tours because that's how it is for all like any touring group, band, musician. That's where you make your fucking money because the record company's taking your money from everything else.
Well, there's got to be some upfront cash because with those recording artists.
There is in the beginning, and then you have to pay off all these fees, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and then record
So
companies
look how
taking
quick
their
they
cut.
fade.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll have like for one summer the biggest hit in the world, and then
you're gone.
4 months later you're old news. No one cares anymore.
Right. And I mean, but that's part of the throwaway consumerism, you know. That's a completely
that's
different
another-
podcast about
But then you got
people in general.
Then you got bands like Opeth who have been making music for 20 plus years.
I was going to say they've been together for like 20 years.
Yeah,
and
91 is their
you
first
can
album.
listen to their first album, and the album just came out now, and hear like a complete progression.
Oh, their first album was like not symphonic, but it was black metal
Like you can
crossed with Iron Maiden.
you can listen to that band like completely grow up.
Oh yeah,
You hear them start off like at young
18-year-olds.
and then now with like their crazy progressive fucking
Fusion
70s
jazz prog.
that sounds like I should be watching a 1970s B-roll of people driving on a bridge. Like seriously, there's
I think
one.
I figured out that song because you were never able to pinpoint it. I think it's the instrumental track.
Yeah,
Goblin.
yeah,
Yep,
yep. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like, and they've always like that's what they've done is they've gone out, they've written music, and the real travesty is that they don't get the recognition that they deserve, at least in my opinion.
Oh, me too. I will, till the day I die, say that Mike Lagerfeld is not only one of the most talented metal musicians, but one of the most talented musicians of all time.
He has stand down one of the best screams I've ever heard in death metal.
His clean voice is beautiful.
Oh my God.
Gives me chills. And his guitar playing is, I don't know.
Sometimes I forget that he also plays guitar in that band, and I'm like, oh God, he's doing all that.
Like I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, how does a person learn to play guitar like that? So I'm sitting here like, yeah, I can play really cool riffs on first two strings, but then it's like, oh, a whole other guitar left. Fuck you, Opus. Beautiful, beautiful band.
No kidding. Like, I don't know. I wish the tables were turned that pop wasn't really like the popular.
Well, I think the problem with it is, how do you introduce someone to heavy music? Like, because it's abrasive, in your face. It's not you. I'm gonna.
And see, I think that's why
It takes a
there are
certain
so many
person to listen to metal.
I think that's why so many bands sit there and they ride that fucking radio rock rail.
Mm-hmm.
They know they can play heavier. Like Avenged Sevenfold's first album is metal. Like,
Oh, it's good.
it's good.
Yeah.
This is the only time you're gonna hear us say Avenged Sevenfold is good. When you listen to that first album, it's good. But you listen to any album after that and it's not that good.
Yeah. I don't like it when it happens when they go radio and they try to get sales, but you gotta understand they have families to feed, payments to make, and I can respect why they do it, but I don't like that they do.
Especially when, to me, it feels like so many people, like, I don't understand why so many people like these bands, because to me, they all, like, every single one of them sound the same. Like, I've heard bands like Breaking Benjamin, fucking Chevelle, fucking, I can't even fucking name them off, because, like, to me, they're all the same generic band.
Yeah.
And they all sound exactly the same.
It's like this different arm of the same creature.
Yeah, like Nickelback sounds like this, sounds like that, sounds like Hinder, sounds like that, you know? And it's just like, well, how can you differentiate? And there's like, oh, well, they all build their music differently. And I mean, me as a musician, like, I know a band sound. You can put a band on, and 90% of the time I'm going to be able to tell you, this is that band.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those bands, I cannot differentiate, because they're all using the same, you know, line 6 guitars with bad tone on them. And they're all doing the same thing. And it's just, it's disheartening for me as a fan of music and as a fan of, you know, everything that I've always, you know, been a fan of. What am I trying to say? Like, it's just difficult to see that that's how musicians that could do better have to make money.
Watch their talent squandered.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, unless you're Five Finger Death Punch and you really just love what you're doing.
Yeah, that's another can of worms.
But like that,
with like Volbeat, I like their sound now. I like that guy's voice. I don't say I enjoy him, but if they're on the radio, I won't turn it. But Nick showed me, my roommate Nick, friend, he's also my friend. He showed me their earlier stuff, and it was heavy, like screaming and super deep, tuned down guitars. I'm like, what happened? Then I'm like, oh yeah, radio. The
radio happened, yeah.
But I think they're one of those bands who morphed into that arena pretty well.
Yeah.
Opinion based, but
I mean, I remember someone, you know, fucking blowing their load over them.
Like, well, circle.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? I wasn't a fan. And then, like, I heard that their older shit was, like, super fucking heavy. And I was like, there's no way impossible. What? I felt like Donald Trump when he's having that facial breakdown, like...
It looks like it edited together, but it's totally not.
And then, oh yeah, that's them. Wow, and that happens a lot. Like, I mean, I always like to point out to people that even though you hate Nickelback, they are signed to Roadrunner Records, and Roadrunner signs a lot of heavy acts.
Roadrunner signs he's gonna make money.
So, I mean. Just take that in. But as far as Mastodon goes, I think we're pretty much good on them.
Yeah. I could continue talking for.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I could probably talk about this for another like 10 hours.
Yep.
No issue.
Easy.
But honestly, like, I would say entry level. If you wanted to like start getting into Mastodon, I would definitely start with the Hunter. It's super accessible. Once More Around the Sun is even more accessible, but you're not gonna get the real Mastodon feel from it.
I would say start with 2 albums in hand, back to back, Hunter and Leviathan. Listen to them back to back.
I would disagree and say Hunter and
Blood?
No, Crack the Sky.
I think Blood Mountain and Crack, you got to work your way up. That's like the peak.
That's true. That is some deep music love right there. Like,
or just start from the. I always like starting from the beginning and just seeing how the band transforms. That's
so yeah.
Good too.
So pretty much what we're telling you is
listen to Mastodon.
Listen to Mastodon because they're fucking great. And who knows where their new album's going to take them. They have their new demo up. You can listen to it. I was not a fan.
It was actually a leak. It wasn't supposed to come out.
And it was on Apple's
Yeah.
fucking page. Oh my
But-
god.
But yeah, if you like them, buy the CD.
Yeah.
Don't download it.
Yep.
Support your favorite
I
bands.
actually own all their CDs.
Yep. I even own found at Jay's the Blood and Thunder single CD.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sexy.
Yep.
But this is AJ telling you need more metal in your life.
You do.
So this is going to be a 30 and Nerdy show called Y'all Motherfuckers Need Metal.
I like it.
So this has been AJ,
And Corpse Grinder, Brady Cooker.
and y'all motherfuckers need metal.